This video is a digital humanities proposal for Future Works Movement, a project dedicated to the creation of the artworks of the future. What exactly does this mean, and how will Future Works Movement accomplish its objectives? Before we delve into that, let's discuss some influences on the project to better understand its goals and motivations. Our first major influence is the Long Now Foundation, a nonprofit group that aims to promote and encourage long-term thinking and meaningful conversations about deep time. Founded by environmentalist pioneer Stuart Brand, Long Now is a network of scholars from many different backgrounds who operate primarily through their website and lecture series. They are currently building a clock hundreds of feet tall in western Texas, designed to be fully operational for the next 10,000 years. Secondly, Michio Kaku and other physicists have spent the last couple decades using data and scientific resources to theorize which technologies may come to fruition hundreds if not thousands of years into the future, existing outside of merely the realm of science fiction. Kaku's book, The Physics of the Impossible, explores when and if such technologies will see the light of day. Last, experimental artists, poets, and composers of the mid-20th century, such as the Fluxus group, developed text-based pieces. These pieces were often aleatoric in nature, meaning they fostered unintended results, laying out step-by-step instructions for the performance of certain music or artworks. Here is one such piece by the composer Lamont Young called Composition 1960 No. 5. So this brings us back to Future Works Movement. Since the fundamental advancement of art and artistic ideas is so often entwined with new technologies that reshape media every day, Future Works Movement believes the possibilities these yet-to-be-invented technologies would grant artists can and should start to be conceived, constructed, and debated now. Thus, FWM is committed to creating, discussing, planning, and modeling conceptual works of art based on technologies that do not currently exist, but which, according to the best scientific research presently at our disposal, are likely to be invented and integrated into our daily lives at some point in the distant future. These technologies may include, but are not limited to, time travel, invisibility, telepathy, telekinesis, teleportation, high-energy lasers, starships, nanobots, phasers, force fields, and traveling at or near the speed of light. The implementation of these technologies into tangible works will prove impossible or severely limited at the present time. However, forging ideas for new works based around them, while allowing for an open forum where artists, scientists, digital humanists, and critics can construct a framework for bringing them to fruition, could prove vital to our understanding of how these monumental technologies might affect culture, the day-to-day functions of our lives, and perhaps our very conception of ourselves as participants in an increasingly aversive environment evolving around us at an unprecedented rate. Future work number 1, Lending Liberty. 1. This work will take place over a 52-day duration of time in cooperation with one gallery in each of the 50 United States, as well as one gallery each in Washington, D.C. and Puerto Rico. 2. Ensure that each of the 52 galleries are equipped with a teleportation device sufficient for teleporting an object approximately 7 to 10 feet high, 3 to 4 feet wide, and 2 to 3 feet deep. In addition, supply each gallery with a variety of oil and spray paints placed near the device. 3. On day 1, teleport an unpainted, 2-scale sculpture of the Statue of Liberty with the aforementioned dimensions to the gallery space located in Washington, D.C. 4. Instructions should be posted that all patrons of the gallery are free to use the provided oil and spray paints to graffiti the statue however they see fit. 5. At the beginning of each new day, teleport the graffitied statue to the gallery located geographically farthest from the previous gallery and repeat the process, allowing the patrons at each successive gallery space to continue to apply new graffiti to the statue. 6. For each of the 51 days in each of the 51 galleries where the statue is not physically present, project a real-time hologram so onlookers may observe the statue as it is being graffitied in its current location on that particular day. Without reading the steps word for word this time, a second work, called Looking Out from the Void for Yves Klein, would involve a room built to extend out from a tall building several stories above the ground. The 3 outer walls and floor of the room would be constructed of metamaterials that would allow the room to become invisible. One visitor would be allowed in the room at any given time. Once the door is shut behind them, a sensor would trigger the walls and floor of the room to turn completely invisible, giving the inhabitant the illusion that they are standing suspended in midair several stories up on the outside of the building. This work is an ode to the artist Yves Klein and his concept of the void. Now that we have an understanding of the type of works created by Future Works movement, let's discuss the documentation, planning, and advancement of these works and some general next steps the project can take. Much like a literary journal, artists aspiring to create future works can submit their contributions via a submissions portal on our website, where a panel can decide on the work's inclusion in the series. Second, our website will include an open forum for planning and debate of each of the works in the series. Returning to the Long Now Foundation for a moment, their group hosts a secondary site for long bets in which 2 parties wager money on whether or not a future event is likely to occur. Here we see an example, along with the arguments from both sides, on whether or not the population of humans on Earth will be smaller by the year 2060. This page also includes an open forum where people can discuss their positions. Future Works movement would also benefit from this type of forum in order to answer relevant questions like, will this particular work be possible? How would we go about procuring the materials or cooperating with venues? Is the work relevant enough to warrant additional planning, and so forth? This type of self-reflection will be vital to the success of the project. Last, scientists and engineers can begin to model the works decided to have the most merit. Using 3D printing, virtual reality simulations, and other computer modeling, artists and scientists can create the framework for these potentially groundbreaking artworks so that when the necessary technologies arrive, the works themselves will already be well on their way to fruition. So why are we wasting time? The future awaits.